Hello and welcome to the Pilot's News Briefing Podcast, your spot for the latest news in Moore County. We're still getting the hang of this one,
Yeah.
Frank, I'm
Thank
afraid.
you.
Today, I am asking our Aberdeen reporter, Frank Daniels, a new and recent development here at our pilot office, about a story he wrote very recently, Monday, about just some Aberdeen planning stuff. So take it away.
Yeah, thank you. As you say, it's a recent development that I have taken the Aberdeen beat, which was Anna Rosano's.
Right.
And on Monday, the Board of Commissioners had its first meeting of the year. And that was also my first meeting as covering Aberdeen. And it was just kind of reviewing some things. But the main one of the main things that they talked about was a presentation by town planner Pam Graham, who asked the board to consider ways to help giving guidance, explicit guidance surrounding development applications to the planning staff and Graham, because, as I quoted, one of the early quotes I used in there, that she said, often by the time the Board of Commissioners reviews a project, planning staff has been working with an applicant for 60 to 90 days, almost a quarter of the year. And she was hoping that more explicit guidance could help staff inform the applicant on ways to go through the process, because that's a lot of what any municipal planning staff does, or that they will work with applicants and help them through the process, because they want to ensure that the developments align with land use plans and align with zoning ordinances and things of that nature. So they help the applicant. They say, oh, well, this particular part of your plan doesn't fit with this statute of the land use plan, or something like that. And so that's a lot of time that they spend. And if it ultimately gets denied by the board, that is time that could be spent in other ways. That's taxpayer money, really, that hopefully can be spent well and productively. And that is that's a lot of what they discussed. One of the things that she brought up was at least with Aberdeen, a large portion of the town is zoned for a little bit lower density. Right. The technical term is R20. Okay. But it has to do with having 20,000 square feet of available land per unit. Right. Is a little bit higher density than a lot of developers find to be an affordable density for development. Right. So many of the developers that come to the town seeking or with an application are looking for higher density zoning that they can put a multifamily unit or just more units in a given area, given the high cost of building materials these days. Anna just did a story about that, and the high cost of housing in general. Affordable housing is it's a quote unquote hot topic, I guess you could say, but it's being discussed across the country and throughout the county and the different municipalities, including Aberdeen. And they spoke about how that these developers come asking for zone changes to higher density so that they can make the process affordable and hopefully maybe offer affordable housing. Right. The board indicated that's a long-time goal of theirs, or an ongoing goal, is to create options for developers to build affordable housing. And planner Pam Graham said that because most of the zoning is that R20, the higher density zoning that many of them ask for is called R6 or 6,000 square feet for or RM, but 6,000 square feet per unit. At that density, it becomes affordable or even more affordable, and they only have a few areas that are zoned for that density. And so Graham said that they come asking, and she says, yes, we do have that zone. We have zoning areas that are that density, but they're already developed. So sorry.
Right.
And then,
I have a question.
Yes, thank you. I'm
Of
just
course.
rambling now.
No, not at all. So Pam had said, and you said that Pam had said that she was looking for ways for the board to kind of communicate better about what they're looking for from planners so that they don't have to spend so much time with these developers. Because, I think people do think that developers come in with a plan and then it only takes a week to get to the county, or, excuse me, I'm sorry, I wrote about the county.
Right.
To get to the municipal commission or board or whatever it may be. But really, that is a very long process. So did Graham happen to mention in her presentation to the board how she hopes that the board can kind of convey that? Would that be in like a more clear planning document? Was that in more of like a work session with like some more maybe less strict goals, but still a better set of goals? I guess what I'm asking is like, what did she say what she was kind of looking for from the town?
They mentioned two possible things that could help streamline the process. One is more conditional zoning considerations. The town has approved planned developments, or the board has approved planned developments, and town manager Paul Sabiston mentioned that a conditional zoning request can be similar to that. So there are strictures that are created around certain developments. So like a developer could ask for, say, 100,000 or 100-acre development in one of the 20,000 square foot, the R20, but because in certain cases there are a wide range of options. If the town isn't clear about what the options are vis-a-vis, or in the case of making certain specific conditional zoning parameters, that a developer is typically going to default to the most lenient, which doesn't always align with the board's vision. So conditional zoning is one option that they discussed. And then also maybe creating a more regular requirement for visual maps, or something visual that the board can look at and say, and he specifically mentioned in mixed use developments that it could say, oh hey, this is where a commercial building will go, this is where a multifamily unit will go, and it can just allow for people to visualize it better and say, and maybe put a yes/no question to it, is does this align with the board's vision for the town, or does it not? And then it can be a much quicker iterative process. Say, hey, this is what we're looking at now. Oh no, that doesn't work. Okay, this is now here's what we're looking at. And so a lot of what can exacerbate construction costs is delays. Apart from the materials, it's just the time that it takes to build. So if you can compress that planning process and that approval process, that can help keep the costs down. Commissioner Brian Bowles did ask about readdressing the land use plan. But Pam Graham said that that might not be effective or feasible at this time. Maybe looking at doing that in the future as things continue to progress and the town continues to grow. That's a possible way to even further address these issues.
For sure. Do you know if Aberdeen has any of these major projects coming up?
No, I don't think so. No. I mean, maybe yes. They did kind of reference one, but it's not in any.
Mm-mm.
It's not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something somebody's approached the town.
Yeah.
But I think that happens often.
Yes, and I think like conversation. The reason I asked that question is just because I think whether they come to fruition or not, like sometimes some of these projects that either don't come to fruition or come forward, and then they kind of are a little underdeveloped but have a interesting idea, can really spur a planning department to sort of start to reevaluate, especially with the new year, start to reevaluate the way they're working through things, and they're like, okay, how can we make this better for next time? So,
And maybe that's part of why Graham requested that the Board of Commissioners think about this and give some different guidance. But, you know, that's, I think in short, one of the things that I wrote about the town. The board also did a few things on consent agenda, which means, you know, they just voted on a few items all at once that they've discussed previously. One of those things was accepting the grant from the Convention and Visitors Bureau for the Aberdeen Auditorium, the previous Aberdeen Elementary School auditorium that they're looking to renovate. And then another one was they accepted an amount of money from Habitat for Humanity that will ultimately reimburse the town for a sidewalk that they're going to build around Habitat for Humanity's development called Blues Crossing.
oh, that's right. Yep. Very
So,
nice.
and yeah, so I think that's pretty much the gist of what happened in the meeting.
Cool. Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Do you want to do the emails, or should I do the emails?
I can do it if you,
Okay.
because I put you on the spot for the intro. If you have questions for me, you can send those to frank@thepilot.com. That's FRANK @thepilot.com. If you have questions for Elena, you can send her an email to ELENA@thepilot.com. That's Elena@thepilot.com. And
That's the latest news in Moore County.
all right,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming, Frank.